So this is episode 2 of the Grumpy Guy Show. Make 'em smaller. On tonight's show, there are no guests, but we do have a couple of interesting topics that we talk about, including NASCAR's possible new number placement for next year, as well as assumptions based on outcomes.
All right, everybody, good evening. This is the Grumpy Guy Show again. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
And tonight we got something that really gets Ryan going. So we're going to let him start out with a little bit about a topic he's really passionate about, NASCAR.
So basically, the Sports Business Journal's Adam Stern, for the past year or so, has been reporting about a rumor. It's pretty much gonna happen, that NASCAR will be moving the numbers closer to the rear wheel.
What the hell's the point of that?
The point of that, apparently, is for more sponsor space on the door, even though they have space on the quarter panel already, and the hood, and they even have it on the roof now.
So these multi-million-dollar contracts that they're getting right now, every year, aren't enough. They got to have more.
Yep, exactly. Another thing, a small chunk of these spots, actually a large chunk that is, they barely use the space that they're given. For example, Kroger, they have about this much space, and they have...
It's not a video podcast, Goofy. You got to give size, dimensions.
I don't know how much size.
Say like a foot, 2 foot, whatever, something like that.
It's
just got to
bigger
be
than
small.
2 foot.
You got to give people an
They
idea.
have about half of the side panel of the car, and they only have about a couple inches that they actually use, and it's way at the towards the bottom of the car, so you can't even see the damn thing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How much you think they're paying for something like that?
Couple million, maybe.
I had heard before.
Possibly. I'd say it's up to $5 million.
I've heard before that sponsors pay more the higher the number of laps that somebody completes.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah. You got to look into that. That'd be kind of interesting to know. I mean,
Yeah.
it would make sense because, the more laps you do, the longer somebody's going to see it.
That is understandable. It does. It would make sense to base it on exposure.
Although, let's be realistic. I mean, beyond somebody who's constantly looking at the cars like you, who the hell even notices these sponsors?
TV broadcasters, maybe?
I suppose, but I don't think any true fan is really looking at them.
Yep.
They don't care. All they care about is their driver.
Most fans on this controversy are very against moving the numbers back. It's for tradition mostly, and they tried it last year at the All-Star race, and about half of those paint schemes look terrible. So it's also for aesthetic purposes. And also, if NASCAR were to move the numbers, it would be more practical to move the number closer to the front wheel, since, if they moved the number towards the rear wheel, they would have 2 areas for logos. But if they moved it to somewhat smaller areas for logos. But if the number was moved closer to the front wheel, then there would be an even bigger space for one giant logo.
Yeah, but you just said all the logos are really small, so...
Exactly. That's why they shouldn't move it at all.
Why not just make the numbers smaller?
Well, NASCAR fans basically identify drivers mostly by their number, unlike in other racing. People don't... About half of Formula One fans have no clue what... Let me think of a driver for a minute. Say... Esteban Ocon. Nobody has no clue who his number... About half of Formula One fans have no clue what his number is. But NASCAR, everyone knows who... Even the drivers at the back, like Cody Ware, drive.
I don't know.
People... About half of... You're not even a NASCAR fan. You don't count.
Oh.
Even about half... Most of NASCAR's fan base knows that Corey LaJoie drives... Not Corey LaJoie. Cody Ware drives the 51. Corey LaJoie drives the 7. They both have names starting with C.
Yeah. Go ahead. Make another excuse.
Shut up. Anyway,
so what's wrong with the roof? I mean, they got the number covering the entire roof of the car. Why not cut that down? Who's over the top besides the Goodyear blimp?
the spotters.
Yeah, who cares? They know what car they're looking at.
True.
They aren't looking at the number.
They've already been shrinking the number. And they already do put a sponsor on the roof.
Oh my. Seems ridiculous if you ask me.
It is ridiculous. It seems pointless to me, really.
Yeah. All about money. Just like everything else. It's all about money.
Everything.
Yeah. So what else you got on that topic? Anything?
No, I don't think I can come up with anything. Other than that NASCAR's former most popular driver, Dale Jr., is behind it, which means that it's pretty much going to happen. If Dale Jr. endorses it, then you can guarantee it's going to happen. I mean, he's been talking about bringing North Wilkesboro Speedway, a track that's been dead for like a decade now, and he's been trying to bring that back. And now the CEO of Camping World is throwing $1 million to bring that place back.
Yeah. It's all about the money. $1 million isn't going to do a whole lot to a racetrack, though.
Oh, no.
How bad in condition is it in?
Well, it's been sitting untouched for almost a decade. No, a decade. An entire decade.
They don't do any local races there now?
Nope. They barely... And before they reopened it in 2009, they barely did anything to it, since it originally closed in 1996.
Insane.
Yep. Funny enough, Dale Jr. himself said at one point it would take $80 million to $100 million to fix that place up. And then he would later backtrack and say $30 million would do it.
When was it originally built?
It was originally built in 1947.
And they probably haven't done much as far as updates on the stands or anything like that.
They would occasionally do updates, like I think they did one small renovation in the 70s. And it was originally opened as a dirt track, and they eventually paved it.
So maybe they'll make that a dirt track that's on the circuit.
Some fans want to, but some purists say that no, it can only be brought back as a paved track.
It's just
I don't get why.
It's ridiculous with this whole thing of purist. I mean, seriously.
Yep.
You know, it's racing. It has its roots in driving on back roads that are all dirt, getting away from cops, running moonshine. And now it all has to be paved and circular. Mm-hmm. Circular or oval so that it's all left turns. Come on.
Well, NASCAR has been adding a ton of road courses lately.
Yeah, some.
And they did build their new car scheduled to debut next year to run better on road courses.
That just seems weird. We built a car to run better on a particular course that we just don't do very often. That sounds brilliant. Sounds like crashes waiting to happen.
Well, there are 7 road courses on this year's schedule.
How many are there usually?
Well, last year there were 4. And the year before there were 3. And 2 years prior to that there were 2. And the last time they had a road course added or subtracted before then was like sometime in the 80s, and I can't remember how many there were.
Just seems kind of odd that something that was born on roads is now all about ovals and circles and supposed triangles. Or they can't even call it a triangle. What do they call it? A tri-oval?
Yeah, but there is an actual triangular-shaped track on the schedule.
Yeah.
They literally label it with 3 turns. And on the third turn on the wall, the outside wall, they have this saying written, "What turn for?"
I never understood that either. You have a turn. So you go on this turn, but there's 2 turns there. It's all one turn. What the hell you mean there's a turn 1 and turn 2?
I don't get it either. I've never understood it either.
Well, it's your sport. Figure it out.
I've been trying for years to understand it.
Just insane. All right, so let's move on to the next topic that we've got. Something that I've seen many, many times on Facebook, and a lot of it has to do with... Yeah, I'll give you oh geez.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And you're going to say oh geez too when I tell you exactly what it's usually found around. It's usually found around pictures of people on four-wheelers or side-by-sides.
Okay.
So somebody posted a question in a community that I'm in, or a group. I don't know what the heck it's actually called.
I don't know either. I don't look at Facebook.
Yeah, we know. I didn't either, but, then Google shut down Google+. But that's a different story. So, somebody posted that they were having problems with their side-by-side because they flipped it.
Mm-hmm.
Not flipped it as in rolled, just over on its side. And ever since then...
That's not a flip.
Well, ever since then, it's been pulling one direction. So they asked a question as to what it could be, because they looked things over and didn't appear that anything was broken or bent.
Mm-hmm.
So then all kinds of people start commenting, say, "Oh, you shouldn't be driving so fast. You're just going crazy. This is why we lose trails."
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So they're making an assumption that just because they rolled on their side, they were driving
recklessly.
Yeah, recklessly, stupid, and fast. Seriously. And then the poor lady who's just looking for answers on how to get her machine working correct feels that she has to go through and say, "Listen, we're in our 50s. We were only doing 25 miles an hour. We weren't even doing that at the time because we were stuck in some ruts. We tried to get out. Suddenly the back tires caught, and we flipped on the side. We aren't driving recklessly."
Ruts. Why is it always ruts?
Well, you get some of the Jeeps that drive up there in Lewis County, and they can make some serious ruts in the road.
Of course, it's Jeeps.
Or
trucks.
Jeeps or four-wheel drive trucks going up through there before the grounds really had time to dry out after winter. So as she makes all these comments, all this stuff about I'm not driving recklessly. Why is it that everybody feels that they can just make an assumption based on a picture?
I don't really know.
It just doesn't make sense. It's just a picture. It's one piece of the entire puzzle. You weren't there. Don't make the assumption unless she says, I was driving 80 miles an hour and suddenly we just turned quick because there was a turtle crossing the road. She didn't say that.
She didn't.
She said, we rolled it over and I want some help. Who cares? Answer her damn question. Don't do this crap of, you should slow down, you're driving recklessly, you're stupid. That's a bad assumption.
Well, people like calling other people out, even when they didn't do anything.
Yeah, and that was my comment to her. I said, you shouldn't feel that you have to justify what happened based on the picture. You asked a question in a group that's supposed to be helpful. And they're not being helpful. They're being jerks. Don't feel that you got to do that. And she actually thanked me because, I had commented earlier before all the jerks got on there on things that could be the problem, but, then the jerks get in there and they just can't take... It's that stupid thing of hiding behind a screen. They're all big and tough, hiding behind the screen when nobody can see them. Of course, half of these people are probably the ones that are driving 70 or 80 miles an hour down through there anyhow.
Probably.
They just think they're better because they didn't flip.
Yep. Everyone on the internet has a superiority complex.
Yeah, that does seem to be an issue.
Even the ones that use self-deprecating humor.
Yeah.
And claim that they're terrible people.
A lot of people are supposedly terrible just because they're on the internet.
Yep.
Alright, folks, so we're going to call it a night after that. Another short episode, but we're still getting started. We're just learning on things and figuring it all out. So hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you'll subscribe.
Yep. Have a good one.
See ya.